Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. I'm Anthony Irwin, joined on this, the worst day of the week. Aaron Larsol, you're joined. We agree on that, right? We disagree on the best day of the week, but we both agree that Monday is the worst.
No, I think it's Tuesday actually. Because at least Monday you get Monday Night Football, and you get
Yeah.
the occasional, if it's a national holiday, the banking holidays, you get a Monday off. Tuesday's the worst.
All right. Here's
And
one
Monday
thing
you could be the start of something fresh and new, and Tuesday's just like, wait, there's still 4 more
You've
days
been
in the work
reminded that
week.
you are
This
not
is
fresh or new.
miserable. This is miserable. Monday is better than Tuesday.
Huh. I feel like we might have had this conversation before, but you know what? I'm the one thing I will say about Tuesday, if you have a Tuesday off, it means something like it means a lot. Like a 4-day weekend with Tuesday being off is just amazing. Or if you can have like Tuesday be your travel day and you can just get home and be lazy the rest of that day, that Tuesday is pretty damn good.
So you're
Depending
going
on
you're going best 4-day weekend is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think Friday,
um
Saturday, Sunday, Monday is your best four.
well no, cuz you normally like nobody here's the thing with taking Fridays off. Most people work like half days anyway. So like
You and I are not qualified to have this conversation.
fair, but like but most people like when I remember when I was working my 9 to 5 on Fridays, I worked like 10 to 1.
Even
Maybe
that
that's why
that
I
was
didn't
pushing
last
it.
very long in the 9 to 5.
Maybe that was even pushing it.
Yeah, like you get there, you have like one task that you have to handle, and then from there it's just whatever, you know.
My
Just
sister actually just has Fridays off. Her job they just don't work on Fridays.
I think I've they've done some studies that have said that the 4-day work week is actually a lot more productive than the 5-day work week, where Friday you would have off. But the only thing is like then Thursday becomes the Friday there.
Would you be willing? Again, you and I are not qualified to have this conversation, but
Mhm.
I've heard a lot, and I think I would have preferred this. I don't know if I've ever had a 9 to 5, so I'm not sure. I mean,
Mhm.
that's not true. I mean, when I worked in radio, I worked Monday through Friday. It wasn't 9 to 5, but I worked Monday through Friday. Anyway, um, would you what would you think about 4 10s instead of 5 8s for days and hours? I think I would prefer 4 10s to 5 8s. Like
Yeah.
just always get Friday off. Work an extra 2 hours. Insofar as anyone actually works 8 hours anyway, work
Yeah.
10 Monday through Thursday, and then just have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Yeah, I think that's probably how I would prefer it. Cuz like even given what we said about Friday that most people work half a day on Friday anyway, like one of the toughest parts when I was working my 9 to 5 was like waking up early, commuting, getting dressed, all that stuff, commuting. Like even eat like what I used to say is, can I at least just work remote on Fridays? Like can I just, you know, not come in? Cuz getting dressed and all that stuff is just and I think at this point the last job that I had, the last 9 to 5 that I actually had when I was a proposal writer, I that should have been full-time remote. And I think it probably is. I
Now
have
I'm
no
sure it
interest
is.
in like reaching out to like any of my old team or anything like that, but but like I would be surprised if that company is still paying for office space for people to go there and not interact in any real way with each other other than to like walk and get coffee. That was it. So, yeah, I think 410s is to me like it's one fewer day of having to wake up early and get into the car and sit in all that traffic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, give me 4 of that a week and balance out the ratio of days that I have to be somewhere early to days that I can just whatever, my weekends.
Yeah, I'm just very underqualified to even have this discussion. So my official opinion is I have no opinion. I
That's
just
fair.
the only reason I know the only way that I know that the weekends are different.
Is that your alarm to get to work?
Yeah, exactly. Um, that is the only way I know that like Friday, Saturday, Sunday are any different is other people are more available to do stuff. But
Yeah.
I they're all the same to me. It's either the basketball game or not basketball game is basically,
After
obviously.
tonight, there will be
Yeah.
no more basketball
Yeah,
games.
I'm not doing well with it, by the way. It's
This is
not
like
it's not good.
we got the trailer for Winning Time Part 2, so that's exciting, but that's not till August.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed the first season, but you know what it's going to feel like? This is a bad reference, but it's going to feel like, remember how we would just take, and I don't mean that's about Winning Time specifically, but remember how we would just look forward to any content during the pandemic, and I think it
Yeah.
was it ESPN? I think they played horse, like remotely in people's home, like at people's home gyms and home courts, except they didn't send full crews out to film it.
Oh
So
my god,
people
I
were shooting
kind of
them like on
remember
their
this.
just like with bad
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. I think the Wi-Fi at Mike Conley's house was terrible, and
Yeah.
so it kept breaking. Or we all got together to watch whatever the Jordan documentary, One Last
The
Dance. Is
Last
that what it was
Dance.
called? Yeah,
Hmm.
not One Last Dance, The Last Dance. Like how starved for basketball content we were that
Just
we
sports.
would
I
just.
remember I was staying up late to watch Korean baseball.
Oh yeah, I did that too. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just missed sports so much that was a thing. I'm a junkie. I'm a sports junkie. It turns out. I guess we should figure out what we're going to talk about today, or at least explain it. This
Sure.
is, I think, tonight is going to be the final game of the 2022-2023 season. Denver is just way better. Miami got as much as they could have gotten. I mean, they didn't shoot as historically great as they have in games that they've won, but there were some shenanigans that went on there. I would say with some iffy calls and it was a home game and stuff, and it just didn't matter. Denver won easily, and I think they blow it out tonight. It's one of those 48-minute celebrations to wrap up their
I
season.
am rooting for Miami tonight. I mean,
Yeah, because
obviously,
you want
because
more basketball.
that's part of it. And I was rooting for Miami in the series.
Yeah.
But I did say it was going to be Denver in 5, so I want to
How
be
do
right.
you how do you do the so what do you do the math of if the Lakers lose to a team, you want that team to go out and win a championship?
No,
Because then you can at least say that like
no,
the
I don't
only
want to lose
team
to
that
the
you
best.
lost to,
No, I don't want to lose to the best. This is
you're petty.
this is across all sports for me. If
You're
my team
petty.
loses, whoever beats them, I want terrible things to happen to them, and I want them to suffer
Yeah.
all sorts of indignities. No, I don't
Yeah.
want Denver to win. I also have a thing where I don't want new teams getting championships in the NBA. Maybe that's petty. That is part. I don't think just if a team beats you want them to lose. I don't think that's petty. But maybe it is petty that I don't want any new champions. Right? Like the Denver of all these years, they've never won. No, you don't get to win. I don't want you to win. Suffer. I don't want you winning one. You don't get to join the club.
That's
So I'm rooting for Miami for those two reasons, but also very specifically
So I think
tonight.
we can correctly assume that you did not enjoy how the new CBA is put together, because it is basically demanding for that
Like what the
everybody
NBA is going
gets
to be
to win
better
champion.
if the Charlotte Hornets win a title. No.
Yeah.
But also, I do want more basketball, and I'm rooting for Miami. The other side of the ledger is I picked Denver in 5, so I want to be right. But I think the main thing for Miami, especially tonight, is a friend of mine. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna put her business out in the street like that, but she has. I won't say who it is specifically. I will put her business out in the street, but I will not say who it is specifically
Hmm.
because it's somebody that I would guess most of these people that are listening to the show are familiar with. Um, she placed a wager before, and maybe she said this publicly, I don't know, but she placed a wager on the series that is plus 9,000, which was it's Denver in 6, but she has each of the
Oh, Claire.
games. All
She
right.
tweeted it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So she has each individual game
Hmm.
selected. So she has the first 4 games she's had correct.
Yeah.
And so she has, the order of the winners.
Hmm.
So she has Miami tonight and then Denver in game 6. So um, that's another fun reason to root for. We should all root for Miami tonight because I don't know how much she bet on it. That's her business.
Yeah.
But plus 9,000 is good. So I don't know what she's been texting me with the hashtag Claire Stradamus. I don't know if she's brought that to Twitter yet, but we're all rooting for Claire Stradamus tonight.
That is business that you did just put into the streets.
Okay, well you're the one that outed her to said who it was.
Just well, like no, she tweeted the bet.
Harrison HIPAA violations.
I'm not Harrison's doctor. I can't violate HIPAA. So quick tangent, and I look ridiculous. Do you see this stripe that's across my forehead? Do you see this thing?
No, your camera's not that good.
All right, well that's good.
I do. You mean that wrinkle? Yes, I see that.
No, not the wrinkle. Like there's a. So I have a tan line because I wore a hat backwards. We went to the lake yesterday and wore a hat backwards, and I keep looking at myself, and I think it's a kind of
white people stuff.
Huh? Yeah. Well, yes and no, because
it wasn't a lot of brothers at the lake, was it?
Oh, the actual going to the lake is the white people stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's white people stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So wearing a hat, wearing a hat backwards is not white people stuff. Continue.
No. I thought you meant like the tan lines. You know?
Oh no, I mean that is white people stuff because I don't get tan lines.
Yeah. I started burning late in life, and for the vast majority of my life, I never sunburned, and then like I'd say like 5-6 years ago, just all of a sudden.
Did you become more fair skinned in your older age?
No.
Well, you know what? No, getting tan lines is white people stuff. One, just because white people are the ones that have the greatest ability to tan, or the fair skin.
Or
burn. But also because all the activities that get you tan lines require white people stuff.
It's like going outside and seeing the sky. White people stuff.
No, but a tan line requires... I mean, the assumption is that you're going by some body of water and wearing a swimsuit, right?
Or anything. Like I get tan lines over the course of like the summer from doing my lawn.
Okay, but how many black farmers do you know? None, right?
No, it is.
If you have
farmersonly.com is the dating site for...
I think that is, yeah. Those commercials are so good. Catchy ass jingle too. It's called a
Are you on farmersonly.com?
No, I am not.
I think if you tried to sign into farmersonly.com, you would get a prompt like, "You lost, boy."
You can only set your location as within 5 miles of TD Garden, Boston. That's basically just a Celtics fan dating app. It's not farmers there.
Yeah, Celticsonly.com.
Yeah. If you have a shirt, right? Like if you have a tan line on your shirt, or the tan line of a short sleeve shirt, that's called a farmer's tan.
Yeah.
It's white people stuff.
Austin Reeves and Caruso, for some reason, they can never get rid of their tan lines. They can never get rid of their farmer's tans. Neither of them farm.
They're white. They're white, and they lived in Los Angeles.
You know what's funny? THT had like a farmer's tan for a minute.
Did he? I don't get farmer's tans, but maybe because I don't go outside a lot.
Yeah. Well, no, I would go so far as to say that you are one of the most outside people that I know.
I can be one of the most outside people that you know without going outside all that much. During daylight hours? Are you kidding me?
All right. So today,
you have a tan line. Let's go.
Well, all right. So no, I went to
the lake.
Went to the lake. My in-laws have a boat. They have their little pontoon.
Of course they do.
And it was Miles' first day out on the lake. He was not a fan. Avery loves it.
My guy. Well,
Avery is all about it. She's my daughter. She's a total water baby. Doesn't care if it's cold or warm or whatever water. She just wants. I prefer colder water. She was just all about it. Miles,
not so much.
Quite a bit less so.
Okay.
And but anyway, the whole time that we're out there, I had a hat that I was switching back and forth between forward and backward, and then clearly left it on backwards for way too long. And so now I just have this like
Got the
bar
band,
across my
yeah.
forehead
You got the band, yeah.
it is just not a good look. And I think it's the kind of thing that like only I can see. But then once I point it out and other people notice it, that's all that they can see. Because Jen just walked by me this morning. She's like, "Your stupid forehead. Wear sunscreen, you doofus." Like,
I mean, she's a doctor. That seems like
Yeah.
reasonable advice.
yeah, I've never been a fan of sunscreen. It's like oily on my hands, and so even now that I burn, I just kind of deal with the burn. So, yeah, but yeah, I can't stop looking at this stupid thing on my
I had a
forehead.
joke. I had a joke there that I was going to say, but
Oh yeah,
I was going to make fun of myself. Now I'm not going to, because that would have been the one thing you would have used for promoting this show, and that would not go well for me.
no, I'm definitely using farmers only. Like
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna send out. This
Okay.
should
No,
have
I'm
told.
not.
Turn on
I
the
am not
TikTok
on. I am
machine.
not on farm. No farmers only for me.
All right. Today, though, I wanted to talk as this season is about to be wrapped up. And you have, one team in Denver who has like one superstar, one like star, I would say, in Jamal Murray, and then a cast of role players. You have Miami, one superstar in Jimmy Butler, but he's only really a superstar in the playoffs for some reason. So I'm not sure how we do the math there.
Purposefully.
Bam
But to be
is
fair, Jamal Murray is a superstar in the playoffs.
all right. That's fine. But a star in the regular season. And Bam, I think is like a borderline star. He kind of comes in and out. But like in terms of like star power in the series, it just wasn't really there. And by the way, I think that's why ESPN has been so terrible at talking about the series. It's like,
They haven't paid attention to either team all year.
yeah, it has been insane to watch Stephen A. Smith be objectively wrong about so much stuff. I think he's actually like he's clearly very charismatic. He's very good at like entertaining and stuff like that. And also, by the way, he is a hoop head. Like he is normally really good with at least not being objectively incorrect. And in this case, like he said the other day, Jokic isn't a dominant post player. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, and then he got corrected by Redick, and then he switched it to what he meant by dominant was like physically imposing dominant.
Yeah,
Shaq,
which
like,
he's also though. Like you can't
different
move
way, yes.
Jokic. Like
Yes, but
have you seen?
No,
have
he
you
was
seen
just-
these poor bastards try to move this guy? And he's just like, oh, you're pushing now.
He is a big boy. He's a big boy.
But anyway, I wanted to talk because I kind of wonder on a macro level if we are at a point now where it isn't just enough to have the stars. For a little while there, you kind of could, right? Like LeBron and Dwayne Wade, when they played together, weren't like the perfect fit.
They were once Dwayne Wade in year 2 once Dwayne Wade said, "You got it, LeBron."
Yeah, but even there though, Wade isn't really a floor spacer. So what they wound up having,
he's a great slasher, and they took advantage of LeBron's passing.
And what they eventually wound up doing was move Chris Bosh out onto the perimeter so that you could take advantage of Wade's cutting and stuff like that. But like it was that first year, I think they started like 9-9. It was a little clunky at first. And so eventually they made the fit work. But what it really was at the beginning was those three guys saying like, yeah, we want to play together. Fit me down. We want to play together. We'll figure out the fit later. And I just don't think, while I'm not here saying that team wouldn't succeed in this modern league, like they brought about the modern style of basketball that we're talking about. So I think they'd be perfectly fine. But that approach of, three stars just get together and they decide that they want to play together, I think that's over. It's over because these teams are too smart and these teams fit.
You mean
well.
it's over? You mean it's over as a winning proposition?
Yeah, they'll try. Well, I'm not saying that stars won't try to do that, but I think it's over also because of the CBA. As given how little that we know quite about it right now, everything is indicative of they do not want that type of behind the scenes movement, and yeah, I think they're trying to end it. I and then again, like I keep going back to these teams are so smart and these guys play so well that fit does really matter. Like optimization on these teams does really matter. So and like the most recent example of stars just deciding, yeah, screw fit, we'll make it work, was LeBron, AD, and Russ getting together and saying, screw fit, we'll just make it work, and they couldn't. There was a disaster. So do you agree with the premise that like that era is, kind of going the way of the dodo?
No.
And do you
I mean, I
see?
think the league may be trying to mandate it out, but
Yeah.
having the best three players in a series is still the best way to win.
Okay.
So I do think though that fit matters and health matters, um, because your roster is going to be thin, kind of by nature. Your roster is going to be thin otherwise,
Hmm.
if you have that many. And it's not even about the stars; it's about the contracts, right? And last week when I was on, which because you have me on this godforsaken Monday, was about 2 days ago. I mentioned that in reference to you talking about LeBron and him wanting a third star. I think we need to, as I said the other day. Hopefully, you listened to that episode. Um, but if not, to repeat myself very quickly, is I think we have to kind of separate the three things, because there's a star level contract, there's a star level player, and there's a star level name. And
Hmm.
some guys check all three boxes, some guys check two of the three, one of the three, whatever. So I do think that if you're getting star level production from those stars, I do think the more of those guys you can get, the better. Um, and I do think fit matters more. But what I think is really important during the playoffs, and this is kind of the underreported part of it, is that it's not so much about like, because you're going to have minimum guys probably. If you have three guys making that level of money, whether they're stars or not, the problem for the Lakers was it wasn't about the fit. It was about the fit, but the main thing was you're paying superstar, second highest paid player in the NBA to Russ, and he was the whatever 78th best player in the NBA or something, most impactful towards winning player in the NBA. So you're going to be required to have, just by nature, generally, you're going to have some minimum guys on that roster. Hopefully you hit on your draft picks, because you're going to have those guys anyway. And you're hopefully hit on your exceptions, whatever exception you have. So I think the underreported thing, though, is that in the playoffs, it's not so much about like the stars are what wins and loses. So the more of those guys you have, the better. It's who can get played off the court, and that's what we're seeing with Denver. Like, I don't think the two guys and a bunch of role players is inherently better. I think it's how many guys can play in the playoffs, are good enough on one end and at least competent on the other
Hmm.
end, so they can stay on the court. I think the number of those guys that you have, right? Like Austin Reeves is a minimum guy. I don't even think he doesn't even make the minimum, but
Hmm.
he's good enough to stay on the court. D'Lo was making 30 million, and right, for the Warriors, Jordan Poole is going to make 30 million. He just can't stay on the court defensively unless he's an absolute flamethrower on
Yeah.
offense. He can't stay on the court, and Denver doesn't have those guys. Um, all their guys in their rotation, and when you get to the playoffs, you need 7 of them probably, and they have 7 or 8 guys that are good enough on both ends to not get played off the court. So I still like the last real attempt at like a big three, like actually superstar trio, everything else be damned, was Brooklyn, right? With Harden and Kyrie and
Yeah.
KD. And the fit seems clunky, right? Because they're all guys that are just like, we all need the ball. but they're all such good, or were at least at that time, such good offensive players that it just didn't matter. Like, if they were healthy, they would have won. Period. I have no doubt of that. Now, they
Yeah,
maybe that's just
I
so overwhelmingly offensively talented that fine, but yeah, I don't think it's I still think you can win that way. And as I said on the show like yesterday when you had me on, because this is a godforsaken Monday, and here I am again. Um,
thank you.
I do think there are still there's multiple ways to win, is what I said the other day. I
Yeah,
do still think there is a path to, if you can do it, just having such an overwhelming amount of offensive talent. Because when you say big three and stars, it's about offense. I do
yeah,
think that you can have three guys that are just so overwhelmingly offensively talented that it's just too much to overcome. Um, it looks like Phoenix was trying to do it. Like, if whatever, if Phoenix had no guys, right? They had
yeah.
their guys. The real problem for Phoenix was Aiton was terrible and then got hurt, and CP3 got hurt.
Hmm.
In addition to the fact that they had nobody after their main two guys. Let's say if they were able to
They
trade
traded all their wings.
and everybody that was going to guard anybody, and
Yeah,
yes, and every draft pick, they don't have a pick in the year 3000. Let's say they were able to trade Aiton and CP3 for, I don't know, insert a star that's making way too much money. There is a world I'm not going to speak about a player specifically, but they could form like just a big three that is so overwhelmingly offensively talented that I think they would win, and it just really wouldn't matter as long as they were healthy.
yeah. I don't know. I like you mentioned guys. You know,
Seems
you
like
need
Tyler
as many
Hero. Is this
guys
coming
who.
out today? Are you
Yeah, I'm
releasing this
probably
today?
just going to turn right around. And,
Woj said Tyler Hero looks like he's going to play
yeah.
tonight.
I,
Not
they've
does
been
he
better
form a
without
big
him.
three with Jimmy Butler and Bam? Is that what we're is that you
He's
knew
not a.
this?
He's
You
not
knew
a
that.
star.
No.
But like I like you mentioned, that you need as many guys who can play in the playoffs as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like in many ways, the playoffs are basically like there's a bunch of stuff. Everybody who is in the NBA can do a certain thing, but not everybody in the NBA has nobody or has nothing in their game that they can't do, right? Like those.
Wait, say that again. Not
So
anybody has
like
nothing.
everybody in the NBA is there for a reason. There are certain things that
But
they
you're saying
can
everybody
do.
has a weakness.
Yeah, well, yeah, and certainly every non-star has holes in their game, things that they can't do.
Okay.
And in the playoffs, with these teams, it's about finding the thing that team doesn't have on their roster
Yep.
and taking advantage of that thing
we'll
as
pick at
often as
that over and
possible.
over.
It's yeah, the playoffs are
It's a
have
stress
become
test.
about like yeah, what can't that guy do? What can't that team as a collective do? And how can we
Absolutely.
take advantage of those things? And I think when you have 3 stars on your roster, you wind up having a lot of guys who have too many things. You wind up creating too many holes that you hope that the star power is able to cover up those holes or just be so good at certain things that they can overcome those holes as teams take advantage of those things. But because of the way that the CBA is put together and because of the second apron here, it's essentially like do you agree that it's basically a hard cap, right? Like I think we're on the same page there. Like most teams in the league are going to treat it as a hard cap, and even those teams who don't see it as a hard cap, like there's going to be so much that they won't be able to do roster wise that it will make it really difficult for those teams to exist.
I do think that functionally it will yes, let me
Yeah.
say it that way. Yeah, functionally I think it will operate. Teams will operate with it as a hard cap. Yes.
So this year the second apron is set at about 190 million.
Yeah, but this year the penalties for passing that are not as punitive.
Yeah.
Right. They're phasing stuff in. But yes, continue. Yes, correct. That is correct though. That number is correct.
Most NBA superstars are going to be making, we'll say
40
50.
to 50, yeah.
Yeah. So you have, if you have three of those guys on your roster, you have 150 million ish devoted to those three guys. And then you have $40 million to fill out the remaining 12 or 11 roster spots that you need to fill. That's
And
really
the other
just,
difference though is the I believe I have, and again, you said this a few minutes ago that we don't know exactly. We haven't seen the full CBA yet.
yeah.
So some of these are just educated guesses from people that are much smarter than you and I about this. And I am
Mm-hmm.
in the probably 99.99999 percentile of CBA knowledge on
Mm-hmm.
planet Earth, and probably 80, 85% percentile of people in the NBA. But there's people that are much smarter than I am about this stuff, and they have even said that that's basically what we're looking at.
A hard cap.
It's Yeah, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and that, I mean, here's the other part of it is that at this point, if you have three of those guys, that's basically the salary cap. There is your entire salary cap if you have three of those guys. So
Yeah.
I do think that it is going to be also very interesting this summer, because I think teams are going to have to do quite a few things to prepare for next year. But the other part I wanted to say about them reading this and being smarter about it than I am, even though I've read some of it or read what is available, is that number, it has been previously like basically the number that you have, your
190.
salary number for the year is calculated at the end, was the last day of the regular season, and now I believe it's going to be at the beginning of the regular season.
Yeah. Because they
So
want teams that you have to hit the floor. You have to hit the
so
salary floor.
I think we're going to see quite a bit of movement this summer as teams try to prepare for a year
Yeah.
early. Some of the stuff is coming into place for this coming season, but the really punitive stuff about not the draft picks being encumbered and your draft going 30th, and the trade restrictions where it has to be basically 100, it has to be like exactly matching salary basically, and not plus 125%. Some of that is in place this year. The stuff about aggregating salaries and trades, like all of that is coming. So I think a lot of teams are going to try to get some business done this offseason in preparation for it.
Yeah. And so yeah, I just think, because look, when, and I'm not going to try to speak in too much generalization here, but like when stars, like when KD and Kyrie and James Harden got together, when as that was happening, I don't think that they sat there and looked at like their PERs and how they were going to function together and their holes defensively or whatever. They were just like, no, we're good friends. That guy's a bucket. I'm also a bucket. That other guy's a bucket. Nobody can stop our three
And by the way,
superpower
nobody could.
bucketedness. Yeah, yeah, but also they were a disaster. Like, because the interpersonal relationships matter, and
Their
because defense
hamstrings.
matters, and because YouTube is apparently really addicting.
Dude,
Like
I'm not gonna lie, I watch about 8 hours of YouTube a day. I'm not gonna lie.
my daughter is just, she, the number one way we were able to potty train her was to say like, hey, if you go number one or number two on the potty, you get the tablet. And then eventually it was like, if you go number two on the potty, you get the tablet. And now she wakes up every morning, pushes one out, and comes tells us, hey, can I have the tablet? So yeah, YouTube is very addicting. She's not on main YouTube. She's on YouTube Kids, but yeah. But anyway, like, I just think because of the CBA, and again, I just like, the reason I was so excited about the LeBron and AD era is because those guys just seem to fit so effing perfectly.
They do.
And if they shared their primes together, we're talking about like maybe the most talented dynamic duo that the league has ever seen. If like LeBron was 27 and
Best or
somehow
talented?
AD was
Most
27,
talented or like best?
both like
Most talented. Most talented. I don't have a best. No, but most talented. Yeah, maybe.
who's the best? You saying Pippen and Jordan?
I mean, Pippen and Jordan's pretty
That's pretty
good.
good.
Magic and Kareem
Magic.
is pretty good.
I'm saying
Steph
though,
and
if
KD is pretty good.
see the thing is, our idea of these guys playing together is only what we have seen from them at this stage of their careers. But I'm saying if like
No,
Cavs,
AD has been
LeBron,
in.
second,
AD is in his peak. AD
yeah,
was
well he
in his.
moves and we have to treat him like he's a 35-year-old veteran. Like so, if he was like, you know, a little
I mean,
less.
there was. Hold on.
What?
There was in the bubble. There was a credible. I mean, it wasn't an argument that I would make, but there was a credible argument that AD should have won Finals MVP.
Okay, yeah, and then
And he's
you
in
know,
his and the Lakers have had him in his late 20s. That is your athletic peak in the
Yeah.
NBA. Period.
and yet I've spent just as much, probably more time fretting over every single time he falls because that might be a 20-game
And
absence.
LeBron has had a prime. I mean, yes, it's his late prime, I guess, but LeBron has had like a 15-year prime.
Yeah, but like this is not the best that we've ever seen LeBron.
No, Miami LeBron was the best LeBron.
Either Miami LeBron or the to me my favorite
second stint Cleveland.
the year that he almost single-handedly won. He dropped like a 50-point triple-double in game 1 of the J.R. Smith the J.R. Smith going the wrong direction. So like
18.
that to me was the best LeBron that we've ever seen. The combination of because like Miami LeBron obviously was just an
Miami LeBron was
otherworld
the best
athlete.
offensive player in the league and the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, but I didn't think he had like the chess aspect of the sport down in the way that he did
He had the
in
chess
2018.
aspect of the sport down when he was 14 years old. It's St.
Yeah,
Vincent,
but
St.
not.
Mary's.
It gets better
Brian
over
Windhorst
your
was,
career.
you know,
I
Brian Windhorst
I thought like in 2018 is he was still close enough to that type of best on both sides athlete, and I thought he was he had kind of like people when they I haven't done mushrooms or whatever, but they'll say like they'll take mushrooms and then they'll wake up and they'll like they look at the world completely differently. They like figured it out or whatever.
Sure, you have.
I've not.
No, not you. No, not you.
Yeah.
Sure, the non-descriptive. Everyone, whoever says that, yeah, sure, you have.
Yeah.
You got it all figured out.
Yeah. But like that to me was like the LeBron where like he wakes up and he actually did figure
It was
out.
in like the Matrix thing.
Yeah, he was just like watching him pick apart one of probably the best assortment of talent that we've seen. It was incredible.
Not maybe it was.
So
Not
anyway,
particularly close either.
so like if we had that LeBron and bubble AD for more of the time that AD has been on, for longer stretches of bubble AD, that to me would be looked at as the best, if not like top 3 duos.
Yeah,
that
but
the league has ever seen.
here the point I think that is being lost in all of this. Maybe call it top 5 or top 3,
Whatever,
top
yeah.
5, whatever it is. That's an NBA history.
Yeah, right.
You're like a top 5 duo in NBA history.
But the reason it would like the reason that they are at that level, and the reason Magic and Kareem and Shaq and Kobe and Michael and Pippen were at those levels, right? Even Steph and KD.
We didn't even mention Shaq and Kobe, but for a lot of that, Kobe was not quite there yet.
Yeah.
He was pretty young still.
But like though there's an aspect of
list, though.
fit. There's an aspect of fit with those guys that like what's that?
With I mean, a part of this is it's a different NBA now, right? Like I was gonna say like I was like with Kobe and Shaq, was there a fit? There's no
Inside,
spacing,
outside.
but that's like there's no spacing in today's NBA, and that was not the NBA they were in. So
Well, also like Shaq was just such an overwhelming offensive presence that like broke backs almost literally. Like you watched Dikembe Mutombo, he might have broken his back.
He maybe did. Jared Dudley, Chris Dudley would like a word.
but then you look at the other end of the court, and Kobe was about like as overwhelming a defensive presence in that sport as there was. His ability to
Certainly on
just
the
guard
perimeter. Yeah.
anybody, and yeah, like that Iverson series. Iverson won that game one single handedly, and then Kobe was like he like studied sharks and then said I'm going to guard Allen Iverson, and then did.
The Orca facts.
No, no, you can Google that. Like he studied sharks and the way that they moved, and it's a very Kobe thing. But he said that he studied sharks. Yeah,
I went. I don't even know if YouTube.
It's fun to say. It's fun to say.
He didn't watch YouTube. He went and like looked at VHS tapes of sharks, or turned on Discovery and watched sharks, and then 2 nights later implemented their movements into guarding Allen Iverson. That is nonsense.
Kobe is so insane that he probably swam with sharks and was just like, okay, so wait, so when you go super fast here, how are you?
Right. How do I adjust my dorsal fin when I'm going to guard Allen Iverson? I don't want any drag.
I love Kobe. Here. I love Kobe. But yeah, I think I think though, like the Kyrie, KD, Harden thing had too many holes defensively to ever reach the heights of the other duos that we have seen. And if you're going to have such obvious holes, then you have to be on those guys' levels to make it work, I think, in this era of basketball where teams are so smart. They are so able to find those holes and attack those holes over and over and over again. And I really, and it's, I don't want to be the person who's sitting here and saying like Denver built their team the right way. The right way is however you win. But to me, what I will say about Denver is that like their main acquisitions as they got ready for this title run, and now they appear to be potentially a freaking buzzsaw, is Bruce Brown, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Aaron Gordon was their biggest acquisition that they didn't draft, right? And like when I like those players, now it does help that they drafted the best player in the league in like the 50s, and so that's certainly helpful.
But yeah.
And then they also
drafted during a Taco Bell commercial.
So perfect. They drafted a chalupa, and it's just like so great that he even looks like a chalupa. But
he certainly
did. but like I just think, and again, I'm not here saying that like that's the right way to do like the cliched. All the other teams are cheating by going out and signing stars. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying though is that like those role players that they brought in fitting alongside Jokic to make Jokic the best version of himself and fitting next to Jamal Murray and helping Jamal Murray be the best version of himself. Like that to me is kind of where the league is going now. Where you need stars. I'm not saying that you don't need stars. You absolutely do. But you also need
as you can get.
But you need role players who help make those stars the best version of themselves. And therefore that gets reflected upon the role players themselves, right? It's this kind of symbiotic relationship as those pieces of the puzzle fit together. And the Russ AD LeBron thing and the Kyrie KD Harden thing, I think what got overlooked there was the extent to which that trio or those pairings were going to create holes that, because of the way that salary structures work in the NBA today, you couldn't plug up. And I think the next step here is, and look, if a trio does come together and fit that way, like let's say you swap out Kyrie for AD or Harden for AD, and
they go 82-0.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like
5 and go 82-0.
That's what I mean, though, right? Like if you do figure out a trio that fits absolutely perfectly together and does cover up all of those holes, then like that is the best version of whatever team that can be put together in this new iteration of the NBA. But that
Not easy.
notwithstanding,
That's not easy. Well,
yeah,
and again, the house
without
part matters,
yeah,
and the role guys. No, I agree with you. The role guys have to complement, right? Complement the stars. Um, but they also like those Brooklyn teams had some guys. Claxton, who's one of the best defensive players in the league
hmm
now, wasn't quite ready yet to be that.
yeah,
I give an award out in the playoffs, and this year's recipient is Michael Porter Jr. He gets the Joe Harris Award for a shooter that forgets how to shoot in the playoffs. Like that was the other problem. Those teams got hurt. Harden got hurt. Kyrie didn't play. It was KD by himself. When it's KD by himself and Joe Harris goes 3 for all the playoffs from 3, that's not gonna work.
so
I agree with
D'Angelo
you.
Russell got the Joe Harris Award in the Western Conference Finals.
I don't give it out for the Western Conference Finals. I give it out playoff wide. And it is going to Michael Porter Jr. There's going to be a it's after the trophy presentation from Adam Silver to Michael Malone and Kroenke still. Yeah, Kroenke still owns the Nuggets, and to the
Yeah,
Kroenke family after Silver gives that out tonight. And then Jokic, who is minus 9,000, I believe, literally to win
yeah.
the MVP of the NBA Finals. I'm gonna sneak in there and give Michael Porter Jr. like an empty bucket of KFC or something to because there was empty
Like
buckets. It's a joke. It's
a
Joe Harris.
KFC bucket with the bottom carved out, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes. And
or
it'll
even
be
better, like an empty
it'll be
bucket.
copper. Not even it's not even bronze. It'll just
Well,
be
like
copper.
it'll be a KFC
Tarnished.
bucket that has like a cover permanently sealed on top, and it's permanently sealed there, and nothing can go into the bucket
No, I'm
because you
just
can't
gonna put.
fill
I'm gonna
it.
put I'm gonna put
Yeah,
plastic wrap over it. It'll look like it can still go in. You won't be able
yeah,
to. You won't be able to see that you can't get a
yeah.
bucket. But so I think that was the Joe Harris Award. I'm serious. I mean, I don't actually give out awards, but I do think of the Joe Harris Award. It's
No,
the
this
dude,
should be a
a
bit. This
shooter
should be
who
a bit
just
moving
can't shoot in
forward.
the play, who just when it matters, just for whatever reason, can't make any shots. Actually, Klay Thompson would have been a pretty quality recipient this year,
Yeah,
but I don't. Yeah,
he didn't go long enough.
D'Lo had some games.
See, you do this thing when I make that kind of joke,
Thank God I have Hennessy.
and like one day as this show keeps growing, we'll be able to
Unnamed
bring
cognac,
in
by the
like
way.
a video person, and I just want a supercut because you make a certain face. Like you make a certain face when I make that kind of joke, and it's so defeated. It's just like
D'Lo is exempt from this award. The reason he is exempt from this award is because he's not that type of shooter.
okay. Well, he's normally pretty good. Like he's usually
Yeah.
he's like a 36 career per
Yeah,
percent.
but you have to
3-point
fall.
shooter.
The point of the Joe Harris Award is you have to fall from great heights.
Yeah.
But you have to be Icarus, right? D'Lo has never flown that close to the sun as a 3-point shooter. Joe Harris and Michael Porter Jr. this year and Klay Thompson this year. Those guys, Michael Porter Jr. is statistically the 4th best shooter ever.
Yeah.
And that dude can't buy one.
Yeah, and it's like multiple years. Like for whatever
Michael
like
Porter Jr. is he's like I think of him as a
Oh, I was talking about
6'10"
Joe
Klay
Harris.
Thompson.
No.
Oh no,
Michael
Joe Harris.
Porter-
Yeah, no, Joe Harris has done this. That's why he's the namesake of the award.
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah,
It
he's
makes no sense to
I
me.
shot 46% from 3 in the regular season on decent volume. Why are you 3 for 18 in this series again?
Yeah, I and it happens so
On
often
good
that
looks?
like maybe an off-season project is like figuring out a way to explain it or bringing somebody on who can explain it. I have a theory, but I would like more time
But
to
those are
to
the
kind
kind of
build out.
guys that you have to get right if you're going to have
Yeah.
the contracts from 3 stars. Those are the things you have to get right, and those guys have to do it because he's not playable if he's not making jumpers, right? And in this series, it's Duncan Robinson has kind of had a whatever. I suspect Tyler Hero would be, although he's paid like a star. We'll see. Kevin Love, you have to have those guys right, and you have to get contributions from, we'll go back from the Lakers. You have to get the other stuff right. If you have Russ and LeBron and AD, you have to get the other stuff right? And so Kendrick Nunn, who is your exception, right? The most money you can spend on the exception.
Yeah.
If you get nothing, like literally nothing, because he didn't play a second, he played as much
Perfectly
as you and
named.
I did. You're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now Malik was really good, so that worked well. But you have to get all of those right, and you have to have an Austin like this year, a guy who makes the minimum or less than
and
the
your
minimum.
stars need to be stars. Russ wasn't a star.
Also true. That also helps.
Like he was not.
And the health has to, yes.
Yeah, but like
there's less margin for error.
Even when they were healthy together, I never felt like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. Like I at no point while those three played together did I ever think, okay, this is a championship caliber trio. Because Russ was too bad. Like everybody always talks about the offense and the missed layups and the turnovers and all of that stuff, but he was an unmitigated disaster defensively far more often than not. Like
look, if you have somebody making $47 million that your coach, and by the way, shout out to, I don't think I did this last week, which was like a day ago, but shout out to Frank. Frank's a really good guy and he's a damn good coach. But
is he taking Phil Handy from us?
No.
Okay, cool.
No. Did I just break news there? Should I?
Should. Yeah.
Did I speak out of turn? No, I don't.
Yeah.
How about this? Let me backpedal. I do not expect Phil to be coaching in Phoenix next year. How's that? I have to give qualifiers. I do not expect. I would be. I would be surprised
if Phil Handy was
not.
Do you expect him to be coaching the Lakers next year?
I do.
All right, cool.
I would be surprised if Phil Handy was not back with the Lakers next year. How about that?
I mean, at some point he's going to have to leave because, like, I don't think Darvin Ham is going anywhere anytime soon. He wants to be a head coach. It's just that nobody has made him a head coach, or really, seemingly for some reason, given him the pathway to becoming a head coach. So, like, so long as he wants to stay with the Lakers, cool.
I expect him to be back.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Next year. No, I don't even remember what I was going to say, but shout out to Frank. Oh, so yeah, what I was gonna say. The reason I brought Frank up is if you have a $47 million player, which is, whatever, more than a third of the salary cap, and the coach has to consider whether or not you are a good option to close NBA basketball games against Orlando on a Tuesday in February.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. All right. That's a good place to end it, essentially. That right there was essentially the point of this entire, so 53 minutes in, that's really all that we needed to say. I apologize for everybody, to everybody for wasting time. I'm kidding.
No, you're not. This is what you do. I mean, look, frankly, you've dragged me into this shit. This is what we do. What do you mean? Why are you apologizing for the basis of your career?
Yeah. Well,
people enjoy wasting time with you.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said about me. No. All right, that is going to do it though for this episode of the Lakers Lounge. I am going to turn this around and release it here as we get ready for a finals game. After the finals game, I will recap it and this season at a macro level for tonight's lowdown, and then we will be in the off season. And there's a whole bunch of shit that we have to get to in the off season. We've already started talking about it, right? I've had a few people on to talk about what the Lakers off season might look like, right? Jake Fisher, Aaron, you have helped out with that also, and then I had Ricky O'Donnell on Friday's episode to start looking at the draft as well. So check out all of that as we get ready for a fascinating offseason. I'm pretty optimistic about what this offseason might entail, which is terrifying, but still, it is what it is. So until then, and until I talk to you guys next, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Aaron Larsoul, and this was the Lakers Lounge.